When the sky darkens and the stars come out to dance, we often busy ourselves with things that do not matter. We scroll and scroll, we pace and plan, we wrap ourselves in the loudness of our lives. But there is a moment, yes, there is always a moment, when the world grows quiet. And in that stillness, something sacred happens. It is not an accident, child, that your body begins to slow, that your mind, though cluttered, begins to seek rest, that your spirit, tired and tender, begins to listen without you even knowing. That is not sleep knocking at your door. That is God. He does not come with trumpets. No. God is subtle like a breeze on the back of your neck, gentle like a mother humming to a restless baby. And when the noise of the day fades, and the world forgets to be loud, He comes closer. That's why the night is not just for rest. It is for revelation. It is when your soul, stripped of the armor you wore all day, becomes ready to receive. But you have to be still. You have to be quiet long enough to feel that whisper in your chest. You must unclench your fists, unclog your ears, and allow your heart to be soft, because God does not shout to be heard. He waits for your silence. He waits for you to stop proving, stop pretending, stop performing. He waits for you to be you, just as you are. You see, we have grown used to rushing. We've confused movement with meaning. But running does not bring you closer to God. Listening does. And to listen, beloved, you must become still. You must dare to pause in a world that keeps begging you to go. You must say, not now. To the screen, to the worry, to the endless list of things left undone. Because in that quiet moment, God is there. He's not just watching you, He's calling you. Not to fix everything, not to impress Him, no. No, He's calling you to sit, to breathe, to feel that tremble in your chest when you know there's something bigger than you moving through the air. He's calling you to remember who you are when all the lights go out, when nobody is looking and nothing is performing. Some of you, right now, are carrying burdens too heavy for your shoulders. You smile, but the smile doesn't go all the way to your eyes. You give, but your own cup is bone dry. And you wonder why the world feels so far and God feels even farther. But maybe, just maybe, it's not that He's far. Maybe it's that the noise is too loud. And so tonight, I ask you, what would happen if you turned everything off? If you laid down every mask, every "I'm fine," every performance of perfection? What if you gave yourself the gift of stillness? Not silence that isolates, but silence that invites. Silence that makes room. Silence that opens the door to the one who's been standing there all along. He does not need your perfection. He does not need your accomplishments. He needs only your presence. He needs only your willingness to be still and know. And when you sit in that stillness, you'll hear something. Maybe not a voice in your ear, but something unmistakable in your spirit. Some of you are waiting for a sign, for a miracle, for a loud confirmation that God is real, that He sees you. But the miracle may not be in the thunder. It may not be in the fire. It may be in the gentle whisper that comes when you finally stop running. When you finally sit down. When you finally let your soul breathe. Child, don't you know? Stillness is not laziness. It is obedience. It is reverence. It is you saying, Lord, I believe you have something to say, and I'm willing to hear it. That kind of listening, holy, quiet listening, is the beginning of transformation. So tonight, wherever you are, however you came into this moment, I ask you to do one thing: be still. Turn your attention inward and upward. Close your eyes if you must. Put your hand on your heart and remember, it's still beating because there is purpose in you yet. And that purpose speaks. God is calling. And He does not speak to fill silence. He speaks to fill you. Now hush and listen. My dear heart, I want you to lean in close now. Closer than before. Because this next truth, this deep, abiding truth, is not one you hear with your ears. No, this is one you must feel in the marrow of your bones, in the hush of your breath, in the sacred curve of your becoming. I came to tell you tonight you are worthy of divine attention. Now don't rush past that. Don't brush it away like a compliment you're too wounded to receive. Sit with it. Let it wrap itself around you like a warm quilt passed down from a grandmother who prayed for you before your name was ever spoken aloud. God, the maker of oceans and galaxies, the artist who paints morning into the sky each day, He sees you, not just the polished version, not the one you clean up and dress in confidence when the world's watching. No, He sees the you that cries quietly in the dark, the you that questions your value when no one's clapping, the you who sometimes feels like a burden more than a blessing, Yes, that you. And still, he calls you precious. You may say, but I've messed up. Yes, you have. We all have. You may say, but I've failed. Child, don't you know? Failure doesn't cancel your calling. You may say, but I'm not enough. Listen to me now. You are more than enough for the one who made you. We live in a world that tells us we must earn love, hustle for grace, and prove our worth by being strong all the time. But God, oh, how different He is. God is not impressed by masks. He is moved by your truth. He leans in when you are real. He draws close when you're broken open, not buttoned up. He chooses you not in spite of your cracks, but because of them. Because it is through the cracks that His light gets in, and yours shines out. And don't you dare confuse being seen with being watched. Being watched is what the world does. Judging, comparing, measuring, being seen, truly seen is holy. It is loving, it is accepting. God sees you in your fullness and says, that one is mine. He does not turn His face away from your flaws. He turns His heart toward your humanity. You don't need to be louder. You don't need to be shinier. You don't need to do more. You only need to be. And in your being, in your stillness, in your raw and honest truth, He meets you there. Some of you have been walking through your days like shadows, invisible even to yourselves. Numbing, surviving, performing. You've poured so much into others that you've forgotten you are also a vessel, not just a river. But here's what I need you to know tonight. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible to the one who counts the stars and still calls you by name. I've seen people move mountains trying to be worthy. They exhaust themselves trying to be lovable. They sacrifice their voices, their rest, their joy, just to feel seen. But beloved, you don't have to shrink to be loved. You don't have to break yourself into pieces to feed those who only take. God sees the whole of you and loves you as you are, not as you wish you were. You may not have the applause of a crowd, but you have the attention of the Creator. And that's not small. That's not casual. That is a miracle with your name carved in it. That is a holy invitation to walk into each day not with arrogance, but with sacred confidence. Let your heart rise tonight on this truth: you are worthy. Not by your perfection, but by your design. You are worthy. Not because the world says so, but because God whispered it over your soul the day He formed you. You are worthy of rest. You are worthy of joy. You are worthy of being heard. You are worthy of being healed. You are worthy of being called. So when God calls you in the night, calls you by name, don't hesitate. Don't second guess the invitation. Don't ask, me, are you sure? The answer is yes. Yes, you. The one who's been doubting. Yes, you. The one who's been hiding.
Yes, you.
The one who's been aching to be chosen. He's not just calling somebody. He's calling you. Tonight is not just another tick on the clock, another page turning quietly in your calendar. No, tonight is sacred. Not because of what you did today or what you plan to do tomorrow, but because you are alive, and breath is still moving through you like a prayer that hasn't yet been spoken aloud. Tonight is sacred because it is wrapped in possibility. It is dressed in mercy. It is drenched in divine intention. Some of us walk through our days like tomorrow is promised, like every night is just something to pass through on the way to the next task, the next demand, the next burden. But oh, if you only knew what power was waiting for you in this night. If you only knew that this moment, right here, right now, has been prepared just for you. God is not waiting for you next week. He's not waiting until you get it together. He's not only available in emergencies or only present when things are falling apart. He is right here, tonight, awaiting not just to comfort you, but to commune with you. Waiting not just to fix something, but to remind you of who you are when the world isn't pulling at your sleeve. You may have come in tonight carrying so much. Disappointment tucked into your smile, silence lodged in your throat, weariness stretching across your shoulders like a second skin. I see it. But more importantly, He sees it. And this moment, this is your invitation to release it. This is the moment to stop treating the night like a void and start treating it like a vessel. A vessel for healing, a vessel for direction, a vessel for connection. Don't turn away from it. Don't numb it away. Don't scroll past your own soul. Because if God is calling you, and I promise you He is, then the time is now. Not when you feel more holy. Not when you've read all the scriptures or cried all the tears or finished all the tasks. God isn't waiting on your perfection. He's waiting on your presence. This night, right here, is not ordinary. And if you keep trying to fill it with noise, if you keep trying to stuff it with distractions, you will miss the very moment he's reaching for you. It's easy to keep moving, keep talking, keep doing. But movement is not always progress. And sound is not always wisdom. Sometimes the holiest thing you can do is stop. Just stop and let yourself be found. We have been conditioned to fear stillness. We associate silence with loneliness. But the silence of this night is not emptiness. It is fullness waiting to unfold. It is the divine setting a table in the quiet, lighting a candle in your chest and saying, sit, eat, rest. I have something to say, and maybe what God has to say isn't loud. Maybe it won't come with fire or flashing light. Maybe it will feel like a thought you didn't think on your own. A memory that suddenly matters more. A warmth that rushes over you when there's no reason to feel warm. That's how God moves when we let him. That's how he arrives when we stop expecting him to show up the way people do. He is not limited by our logic. He is not bound by time. He comes when your spirit becomes still enough to receive him. And that might be tonight. That might be this very moment. So I ask you, what would happen if you treated tonight like the sacred thing it is? What would shift in you if you laid down your armor just long enough to feel something real? What would you hear if you stopped trying to be strong and let yourself be open? Tonight isn't waiting for your approval. It's offering you alignment. It's holding out its hand and saying, come. You don't need to understand everything. You don't need to fix everything. Just show up. Because something sacred is always waiting to meet you in the space where you decide to show up honestly. Not as the world demands you to be, but as God designed you to be, vulnerable, listening, willing. And there's no better time than this quiet, waiting night to say, I'm here. So before you turn away, before you climb into bed and disappear into dreams, pause. Pause and ask your soul what it's been longing to say, what it's been longing to hear. And when you hear it, and you will if you listen with your heart, whisper back, yes, Lord, I'm listening. This night is sacred. Don't sleep through your invitation. When the morning comes, and it will just as surely as your heart still beats. What will you say? What will your first word be when the light crawls over the horizon and kisses your face? Will you rush into the day with clenched teeth and a full schedule, chasing time like it owes you something? Or will you rise gently with reverence for the breath that stayed with you through the night? There is a holiness in morning that we often miss. We rise and forget what happened in the dark. We forget who called us while the world was asleep. We forget how the silence held us, how the Spirit sat beside us. We forget that we were chosen again, to wake up, to live again, to begin again. And yet, the first word of morning should never be an afterthought. It should be thank you, not because everything is perfect, not because every problem is solved, but because morning is mercy in motion, because the very act of waking is a miracle. And I don't use that word lightly. It's not just poetic, it's spiritual fact. Somebody didn't wake up today. Somebody's story ended in the night. But yours didn't. Yours continued. You opened your eyes into a new chance, a divine do-over. You see, gratitude is not weakness. Gratitude is strength wrapped in softness. It takes strength to wake up and say, thank you, even when your eyes are still swollen from last night's tears. It takes courage to say, thank you, even when the path ahead is still covered in fog. That kind of gratitude doesn't ignore pain. It rises through it. That kind of thankfulness doesn't erase the H. It sings anyway. And when you start your morning with that kind of song, the rest of the day hears it. Your footsteps echo it. Your words carry it. Your energy shifts because you've begun with something eternal. You've aligned yourself not with circumstance, but with the source. Now I know. Some mornings are heavy. Some mornings you don't feel like lifting your head, let alone your voice. But child, that's when thank you matters most. That's when it cuts through the sorrow like light through thick curtains. Gratitude is not reserved for good days. It's not only for sunny skies and answered prayers. No, gratitude is your resistance. Gratitude is your anchor. It's how you look the storm in the face and say, still I rise. Still I believe. Still, I give thanks. And I want to say this gently but firmly. Gratitude is not just powerful, it is powerful. It shifts atmospheres. It calls heaven closer. When you say thank you, you open your spirit. You posture your heart toward receiving more, not because you're entitled, but because you're aware. Awareness is the soil in which blessing takes root. So, tomorrow, when the sun stretches out across your bed, when your feet touch the floor, when the sky turns from navy to gold, pause. Don't let the world rush in before the spirit does. Don't let the noise of the day be louder than your heart's first cry. Take one breath, just one, and say it, thank you. You may whisper it. You may weep it. You may say it with tired lips or dancing feet. But say it. Speak it aloud into the air. Let the walls hear it. Let your bones hear it. Let your soul hear it. And it doesn't have to be elaborate. You don't need fancy words. Just honesty, just sincerity, just a simple, thank you for this day. Thank you for keeping me. Thank you for the chance to try again. It's easy to get caught up in what's missing, to wake up thinking about what still hurts, what still hasn't come, who still hasn't called. But if you lead with lack, you live with it. Lead with gratitude, and you'll find your cup fuller than you thought. Because God isn't asking for your performance. He's asking for your presence. And gratitude is how we show up. Gratitude is how we say, I noticed. I felt you. I heard you call me in the night. And here I am, awake and willing. So let your mornings be holy. Let them be deliberate. Let them begin with something sacred. Not out of obligation, but out of recognition that every new day is a gift, and every breath is a chance to give something back. And what does God want back? Your gratitude, your attention, your acknowledgement that He brought you through another night and handed you the miracle of morning. So rise tomorrow not just with movement, but with meaning. And let your first word, no matter what yesterday held, no matter what tomorrow threatens, be the kind of word that moves heaven closer to earth. Thank you.